I'm gonna show you how to draw this cute little axolot step by step, so let's get right into it. The canvas size I'm using is 2000 by 2000 pixels at 300 dpi, and you can find this sketch along with the color palette for free under this video. Since this drawing is symmetrical, as you can see the left side and the right side are the same, we can use Drawing Guide to make things easier. Let's go to our layers, click on the background color, and select the last color in the first row. We can go back to the layers and bring the opacity of the sketch a bit lower so that it's easier to draw over with. Next, we can create a new layer above. Now click on Actions, Drawing Guide, and Edit Drawing Guide. Make sure you have Symmetry selected, and in the options it's set to vertical. Now we can click on the check mark. Open your layers, and if you don't see Assisted in here, you need to turn on the Drawing Guide. So click on the layer and click Drawing Assist. Now you can see it's on. So if we draw something now, it's going to symmetrically draw on both sides. Click with 2 fingers to go step back. Go to your brushes and go to Calligraphy Set and Monoline Brush. Make sure the stabilization is set to 56% first. Set it to 28% size and 100% opacity and select our first color in the first row. Now we can start drawing. I'm going to start with the head, so I'm going to just turn the canvas, and remember we have a drawing assist on, so we can draw on one side and it's going to reflect on the other. I'm happy with that, so let's close. And now we can fill our shape by dragging the color in. Layers, create a new layer, drag it underneath, and turn on the Drawing Guide. So click on it and Drawing Assist. We can stay with the same brush, same color, and now we're going to outline the body. So to make it easier, let's turn off the head just for now. And remember, we need to close the shape, otherwise we wouldn't be able to drop fill it. Now let's move on to this part. We're going to keep the head layer turned off to make it easier. So go to your layers, create a new layer, and again turn on the Drawing Assist. Go to your colors and select the first color in the second row. Same brush and same size. Just make sure you close the shape so we can fill it. And since the Drawing Guide is on, we are already drawing on the other side as well. You can click on Continue Filling and just click and click. Click on the check mark to get out of the color drop mode, and we can bring the face back. Now let's draw the eyes and the mouth. Go to your layers, create a new layer, put it above the head. Make sure it's assisted, so click on it and Drawing Assist. And let's bring the opacity of the head down a little bit so we can see our sketch below. Go to your colors and select the last color in the second row. If you create a shape like this and then you hold, it's going to snap into a perfect shape, and then you can adjust the size. Now we can fill it in. And for the mouth, I'm going to turn off the Drawing Assist, so let's go to this layer, click on it and turn off the Drawing Assist. And we're simply going to make this little smile and hold the shape again so that you can position it and adjust the size. And I'm happy about here. Now we can bring back the head layer to 100% opacity. So the basic design is done at this point, and we can move to the fun part where we make this cute little guy look a bit more three-dimensional. At this point we can turn off the Drawing Assist, so let's go back to Actions and turn off the Drawing Guide. Next, go to your colors and select the second color in the first row. Go to your layers, click on the head layer and create a new one above it. Now click on this layer and create a clipping mask. That means that everything we draw on this layer will only show up on top of our layer below. Go to your brushes, airbrushing and soft brush. Set your brush size to 6% and the opacity to 80. Now let's start on this side. We're only going to be focusing the shadow on this side of the head. Don't press too hard since this brush is pressure sensitive. You can press harder closer to this edge and lighter when you're getting closer to the center of the face. Just to smooth out that harsh line. Now we can bring the opacity a little higher, somewhere around 90, and maybe make the brush a bit smaller, around 5%. And now focus only on this outside part. If you feel like you went a bit too far, you can go to your eraser. Just make sure you set the eraser to the same brush, so airbrushing soft brush. Make it a bit high, maybe like 6%, and with light pressure, make circle motions away from the center of the face, just to smooth it out a little bit. I want it to be a bit more sharp in here and here, so I'm just going to go over this area a little bit. Okay, go to your colors and select the third color in the first row. Make the size even smaller, maybe 3%. We can stay somewhere around 90% opacity. And now we're going to focus it again only to this outside part, just to deepen the shadow a little bit in this area. And lighter pressure the closer you're getting to the face center. And also in here underneath the neck. Just blend it out until you're happy with the shadow. Open your colors and select the first color in the second row. We're going to add a little bit of blush under the eyes. So we can again use the assisted layer. So click on our layer, staying on the same one, and turn on the drawing assist. And using light pressure, just create circular motions under the eyes to add a little bit of blush. Something like that. We can now turn off the drawing assist. Next, go back to your colors and double click here in this white area. It's going to automatically snap to pure white. You can also pick up pure black just the same by double clicking in this area. Make your brush size smaller, somewhere around 1%. And let's go to this layer where we have our eyes and mouth. Create a new layer above, click on it and turn it into a clipping mask. Now let's zoom into our eyes and let's make a little circle in here and on the other side around the same spot. Now we're going to blur this out to create a more matte finish. So let's go to our adjustments, Gaussian blur, and just drag your pencil or your finger around the screen until it's a bit more blurred. I'm going to leave it somewhere about 3%. Click on it again to turn it off. We can also turn off our sketch layer since I can still see it poking through. Just click on it and it's gone. Now let's move on to the body. Go to your colors and again select the second color in the first row. We're still staying with our soft brush and let's make the size somewhere 4%. And the opacity, let's go back to around 80. As you can see, we focused the shadow on the head on this side, so we're going to do the same on the body. So let's start with light pressure, building up from this side. You can press a little harder on this edge. And make sure you make it a little bit curved. And let's bring our size down to 2% and also do our neck. And curve it a little in here to make a little rounded edge. Now let's focus on this bottom part. I'm going to turn this around. And very lightly just make an outline. We're going to bring back more details like the curves of the hands and also this curve with the next step. Let's also do this side of the leg and a little bit in here. Now let's bring our size even smaller, 1-2%, and make a little outline. We are going to use a Gaussian blur to blur this initial shadow. So go to your adjustments, Gaussian blur, and let's blur this just a little bit, somewhere around 6%. Next, go to your colors and select the third color in the first row. Let's bring the size to 3%. And again, just going to focus on this side of the hand with stronger pressure and lighter as I'm going more towards the center of the body. And also stronger pressure underneath the neck. Don't forget from here to sort of curve it in. We're basically just going over the same shadows we already did. Let's bring the size even smaller to 2%. And lighter pressure on the edges so that we don't create sharp edge. Next, let's pick up the fourth color in the first row and bring the size to 1%. I'm gonna zoom in and we're just gonna outline this little line of the arm. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. And then let's move on here and make a longer line down through this curve. Use lighter pressure on the edges and stronger pressure in the middle part. Don't worry if it's a little jagged, we're gonna blur it out and then go over it one more time. So let's go back to our adjustments, Gaussian blur, and just a little bit, maybe around 3%. Now, if you're happy with how this turned out, you can stop or you can keep on blending. You can also use the smudge tool, which is this one. Just make sure you set it again to soft brush. And you can smudge edges where you feel like the lines are a little bit too harsh. You can go over them in circular motions to blend them a little bit better. I'm gonna go back to the colors and pick up the second color in the first row. Make the size a bit bigger, somewhere around 4 or 5%, and bring the opacity low, somewhere around 50. And I'm just going to very lightly, light pressure, go over this area. Avoiding the center, just very light pressure, just blending the colors together a little bit. Maybe on this side a little too. Okay, so now I'm happy with how this turned out and we can move to this part. After you're done blending, I would like to come back here to this side of the blush and bring it out a little more. Since now this side is darker than this side, the blush does not pop out as much. So let's go back to our colors and select the second one. Go back to the layer above our head, so this clip mask, and just darken it a little bit on this side. I need to bring my brush size a bit higher, somewhere around 4 or 5%, and just bring it out a little more. Now it looks a bit more symmetrical. Next, let's move on to this part. Go to your colors, select the second color from the second row, go to the layers, click on this layer and create a new one above and create a clipping mask. Still staying on the airbrushing soft brush, we are going to focus on this side first, since this side will be a bit lighter than this one, following the same principle that we used on the body and the head. Let's bring our size somewhere around 4% and the opacity somewhere around 70-80. I'm going to focus the shadow here on the top side. Don't forget to curve it. Again, use light pressure. It's easier to build it up than to take away. Now let's bring our size down to about 2% to create sort of a line in here. And we're going to do the same for this part. Using circular motions creates a bit better blend. I don't want to put too much shadow on this side since that will be the lighter one. But let's go back to our color and select the third one in the second row. Make our size about 2%, and now let's go over the same shadows but focusing only on the outer edge. Don't worry about the blend because we're going to use Gaussian blur on it. Let's go to our adjustments, Gaussian blur, and bring the blur up somewhere around 7%. Now let's go back to our second color in the second row, and let's focus on this side, but now bring the size a bit higher, around 4%. Since this side will be a lot darker than the other, I'm going to start building it up from the corner. Now let's move on to the third color in the second row. Bring the size down to about 2%. On this side we can leave a lot less of this lighter space. So keep adding shadow until you're happy with it, and you can also use the smudge tool as I'm going to. So let's switch to the smudge tool, and using circular motions I'm going to blend in the colors a bit more. I'm going to bring the size up to 4%. Alright, and now I'm going to go all the way down to about 1% to emphasize this separation. Maybe let's bring our opacity all the way to 100. And let's do that on the other side as well, but maybe a bit bigger so it doesn't look as sharp. Let's go back to our smudge tool, bring the opacity down to about 50% and smudge these lines just a little bit, just so they don't seem as harsh. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.